Hello everyone, I am Henry Canini and I will be presenting our paper entitled An Evolutionary Algorithm for Learning Interpretable Ensembles of Classifiers. What is ensemble learning? It is the machine learning paradigm that integrates several surrogate models into one single system. Within the supervised paradigm, it is employed for both classification and regression tasks, but we will be focusing on classification problems in this paper. There are several reasons for using ensemble learning. Here we present some of them, namely models that are marginally better than random guessing when integrated can perform better than a single stronger-than-all model. Inducing several surrogate models can be computationally cheaper. And finally, surrogate models can become specialized in different regions of the input space. Ensembles are usually black box models, which means that its predictive process is not transparent. Moreover, members of ensembles are often black box models themselves. Additionally, ensemble members may need hyperparameter optimization to perform better, which is a cumbersome task. In this picture, we have some solution space of ensemble member hyperparameter configurations. We have some valleys, the red regions, and some peaks, the blue regions. How can we efficiently navigate this space? In this work, we propose a new evolutionary algorithm for generating interpretable ensembles of classifiers and performing automatic hyperparameter optimization of ensemble members. Evolutionary algorithms seem an appropriate choice for these tasks, since they perform a global search in the solution space. We will specifically employ estimation of distribution algorithms. Now I will present our proposed method that does not have a name, but we colloquially refer to it as PBIL, not to be confused with the original PBIL. EDAs are comprised of the following steps. First, we initialize a probabilistic graphical model, a structure composed of variables in the sense of probabilistic variables. And next, and from this graphical model, we will sample solutions to our problem. These solutions are also referred to as individuals. We assess the quality of solutions by using a fitness function. And then, based on the best performing solutions of the current generation of the EDA, we will increase the probability of generating these good solutions in the next generation. If we still have time, we can repeat this process until we run out of time, or then we can stop prematurely if we achieve convergence on the quality of solutions, as assessed by the fitness function. We specifically use PBIL IUMDA as version of PBIL. It uses a learning rate to smoothly shift populations of candidate solutions to more promising regions. In our algorithm, solutions are ensembles of classifiers with their hyperparameter configurations. Ensembles are composed by 5 base models, generated from 5 base learners from Weka, namely J48, Simple Cart, JRIP, Part, and Decision Table. Ensembles also have an aggregation policy, which will decide how to combine votes of ensemble members. We use 2 aggregation policies, which are majority voting and weighted majority voting. All base learners generate interpretable base models, and each base learner generates exactly one base model. The quality of solutions is assessed by performing an internal 5-fold cross-validation procedure. We take the training set provided to PBIL, split it into 5 subsets kept constant during the whole evolutionary process, and take the area under the ROC curve as on this procedure as fitness value. By keeping the subsets constant, we allow direct comparison between individuals of distinct generations. In the probabilistic graphical model, each variable is a hyperparameter from a given base learner, or it is the variable that decides the aggregation policy for that individual. We have 49 hyperparameters among the 5 base learners, plus one variable for aggregation policy, with 50 variables in total. This is the probabilistic graphical model in its glory. You can check it out in your paper with a better resolution, but the image allows us to see that there is a hierarchy between variables. It is important to notice that our relationships displayed are deterministic. However, you can see that some variables depend on the value of other variables to be sampled, namely the confidence vector value of J48, which is here, depends that the pruning policy for that model to be confidence factor. What we do in our source code is to have an if that checks whether the parent variable of a child variable was sampled, and if so, we proceed to sample a value for the child variable. Although our strategy seems naive, it is still able to generate good performance solutions, and to an extent this is similar to what naive Bayes does. The variable values are values that a hyperparameter may assume in the base learner. We inferred these values through a manual inspection of the Weka source code. For example, confidence factor value must be within 0 or 0.5, an open interval. Otherwise, it will generate an exception in the source code. We use a learning rate for updating variable probabilities. For discrete variables, we can use the original equation from PBIL-IUMDA. The probability of a variable assuming a given value in the next generation, g plus 1, equals to 1 minus learning rate, the current probability, plus learning rate times the probability in the current fittest population. For continuous variables, we have to make some adaptations. All continuous variables encode normal distributions. We slowly shift the mean of the normal distribution to a more promising region. We take the difference between the current mean and the mean found in the fittest population times the learning rate and add on the current normal mean. For the standard deviation of the normal distribution, we slowly decrease it by a constant factor, the original standard deviation of that distribution divided by the total number of generations in the EDA. For the experimental setup, 3 algorithms are compared, or proposed method, a baseline ensemble, which is an ensemble with all hyperparameters of base learners set to their default Weka values, combined by a majority voting, and finally random forest, a well-known ensemble algorithm. PBIL and random forest undergo a hyperparameter optimization, not to be confused with a hyperparameter optimization of their ensemble members. The best hyperparameters found are used for comparing methods, and each combination of values is tested only once. We use 8 datasets for performing this hyperparameter optimization. For PBIL, we optimize 5 hyperparameters, namely the learning rate, the selection share, that is, how many individuals will update probabilistic graphical model probabilities, the number of individuals in the ensemble, the number of generations to run our EDA, and whether the best solution to be used is the best individual found in all generations or the best individual from the last generation. In the y-axis, we have combinations of learning rate and selection share values. And in the x-axis, combinations of population sizes and number of generations. This graph depicts the quality of these combinations of values if we always pick the best individual found throughout all generations. And this graph does the same, but this time always picking the best individual from the last generation. The numbers you are seeing in the cells are the mean area under the ROC curve of a tenfold stratified cross-validation procedure among all tested data sets. You can see that for PBIL, the best combination of values given by the red box actually uses the best individual from the last generation. So we are going to use that configuration for our next experiment. For random forest, we optimize 3 hyperparameters, namely the number of trees in the ensemble, whether to break ties between equally good attributes in decision tree nodes randomly, and the maximum depth of decision trees in the forest. The y-axis are combinations of forest sizes and tie-breaking policy, and the x-axis the maximum depth of trees. You can see in red the best combination of values for random forest, and this combination is used in the next experiment. We use these 9 datasets to compare the 3 algorithms. And each algorithm runs 10 times a tenfold cross-validation procedure for each dataset. The mean area under the ROC curve among the 10 runs is reported as result for each dataset. Hence, we have 2,700 single algorithm runs being performed. 3 for 3 algorithms times 9, the 9 datasets times 10, the tenfolds of the tenfold cross-validation times 10. For the experimental results, with regard to the area under the ROC curve, the proposed PBIL has the best performance in 4 datasets, performing better than random forest 5 times. PBIL appears to perform well in large datasets. Random forest has the best performance in 4 datasets, the same number of victories as PBIL. However, it uses 300 trees in its forest, as opposed to 5 models in PBIL. Thus, it's easier to interpret PBIL ensemble members than to interpret the 300 trees in the random forest. Baseline ensemble beats PBIL 5 times. However, when PBIL loses to random forest, it also loses to baseline ensemble. This suggests that the victories of the baseline ensemble are at the expense of PBIL weaknesses. Here we have a decision tree showing the best algorithm according to the dataset characteristics. We can see that for large datasets on the number of attributes, more specifically the number of numeric attributes, PBIL has the best performance. And for small datasets, that have less or equal than 14 numeric attributes, and very small datasets with less than 625 instances, the baseline ensemble is the best performance. But for datasets that have more instances, then random forest has the best performance. So it suggests that PBIL is more suited for large datasets. Final remarks and future work. In this work, we presented a new estimation of distribution algorithm for inducing interpretable ensembles of classifiers. It uses a small number of classifiers, all of them interpretable, and provides comparable results to a well-known ensemble method, but with only 1.67% the number of models. The proposed EDA is capable of improving results in 4 out of the 9 tested datasets. And for future work, we aim to investigate the interaction between variables in EDA's probabilistic graphical model, and to integrate our ensemble members into one classifier, further improving interpretability of methods. I am the corresponding author. If you have any doubts, please forward to me at my email, and the source code is available in the link below. Thank you for watching. See you later.